Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and today we're going to take a look, or a quick unboxing and first look at the Arctic Freezer 33 Esports Edition. Okay, so if you're a regular visitor to the channel, then you'll know that I'm a pretty big fan of Arctic cooling products. Ever since the days of the older Freezer Alpine and Freezer 64, those kind of things, back in the heyday when AMD were a real competitor in the market, which fortunately they are starting to be a competitor again, but that's another story. So previously I've looked at the Freezer 33, that's very difficult for me to say, which is a great cooler, very quiet and looks absolutely great with the black on white fans. But the only thing that I found that let it down slightly was that aluminium fin stack on the cooler. So fortunately for me and for you guys out there, Arctic have come out with this new model of the Freezer 33, the Esports Edition. Now this is available in a variety of colours. I think you've got blue, red, green, yellow and the black and white. So plenty of colour options. If you don't like your RGB but you like your colour themed, pretty much like the PC in the background there, if you can pick it out, is currently a kind of black and white theme, so it's a very monochrome, apart from at the moment you can probably see the AMD RGB LED lights in the background. So this doesn't have any RGB, which for some is a great thing, for others not so, but anyway, let's not worry too much about that at the moment. So let's have a look inside the box to see what we get. So first of all, we get our QR code for Arctic cooling. Now I think, if I remember rightly, yep, this is actually a sticker, so you can peel that off, and if you're building this for or putting this in a build for somebody else, and they may want to change it or upgrade it or add something to it, or just replace the paste. Words is really hard for me today. Replace the thermal paste. Not that you should have to, because the MX4 this comes with does have an extremely long lifespan, but you know, as PC enthusiasts alike, we like to have a tinker every now and then. So basically you can peel this sticker off, stick that to the side of the chassis or in the owner's manual for the PC you're making, and then they can scan that and see how it all comes apart. Because there isn't actually a paper-based installation manual, which saves the planet, but can be a bit of a ball ache because you need to go online to see the instructions. But it's a pretty simple, straightforward process, so you may not need that at all. So what have we got next? So next we've got the box with the fitting kit. There isn't a great deal in here, which is actually a great thing because that means it's going to be simple, in theory. So, you've got your back plate, which is for Intel setups. Two little screws, and they are to connect the mounting brackets to the fan assembly itself. So you haven't got a wide variety of bits to figure out what goes where. Literally, it's a case of that is AMD, that is Intel. Couldn't be simpler. And you get a selection of screws in here which are all nicely marked up. So you got Intel 2066 and 2011. You got my favourite, AM4. And you've got the Intel 11, 50, 51, etc. So that's pretty much all the bases covered for AMD. For AM3, you can still use this using the AM4 screws with the holes cut out. So AM3 is catered for. Not quite so popular, and not many AM3 systems being built these days, but the option's there if you want to use it. So also in the box we get a little sachet of MX4 thermal compound. MX4 thermal compound, if you haven't used it before, is a great compound. It's really easy to use, more or less. It isn't electrically conductive, so if you are a little bit unsteady with your hands, then this is going to be right up your street. So that's the fitting kit, so let's move that to one side. And let's have a look at the cooler. I'm pretty excited to see this. Look at that. Now that is a tower cooler right there. So as you can see, this is the black and white version. Now you've got a nice Arctic cooling fan on the front, and you've got another exactly the same on the back. So this comes as standard in a push-pull configuration. So if you're using a higher TDP processor, this is going to give you a little bit of extra cooling to keep that monster a little bit cooler than it is at the moment. Now if you're using a stock fan, then this is going to be a massive difference. If you're using a tower cooler already, such as things like the Freezer 33 or the Hyper 212 or the Gamax 400, your results aren't going to be quite as impressive as if you're going from a stock cooler, but still this is going to give you some really good results. And also in sort of testing that I've seen already of this is actually one of the quietest on the market. Now the rotational speed of the fans, you're looking at anywhere between 200 and 1800 RPM. So there's no option for silent on this one with these fans, unlike with the Freezer 33. So if you're building a media orientated PC and you want to keep it as silent as possible, then that one is still probably your better option, with the fact that the fan will stop when the CPU is below 40 degrees, so zero noise, zero fan speed. But this is more aimed towards your esports gamers and maybe your content creators who have got multi-core CPUs, but you want to keep it nice and quiet so you're not distracted when you're in video editing or photo editing mode. So let's have a look around and see what else we've got. So you've got nice easy clips to keep the fans on or take them off, or for cleaning or maintenance purposes. So that's quite nice. You can see you've got a really nice looking fin stack. Now the fins are actually rounded off on the edges, which is quite a nice feature. So that will kind of trap the air into the actual cooling fins themselves rather than dispersing out of the sides, so the airflow is going to go straight through. And also because you've got the fan on the rear, which is going to be pulling the air through, that's going to direct the airflow even more. So you're going to get a really direct airflow across those cooling fins. Now as you can probably see already, well, unless you're watching this on a black and white TV, which you probably aren't, but the heatsink is actually coated in a black coating. So again, if you're using it in a build such as like a monochrome build like the PC behind me, then this is going to fit in really nicely. You don't have that really distracting bright aluminium or chrome type finish to the fans. So this is going to be, although quite stealthy, quite stylish looking. So the fans themselves, let's say rotational speed is quite low, 200 RPM at the minimum. We also get these kind of noise deadening grommets as well, which is nice. So if you're concerned about noise, and again, there's going to be very little vibration on this. There's also foam pads as well, front and rear, to stop any sort of vibration from the fans going through to the heatsink and then through to your chassis. So let's take a look at the bottom of the cooler. Now on the bottom, you've got 4 heat pipes. So these are direct contact heat pipes. So you're going to get a really good contact with your processor, and hopefully should transfer the heat away really easily. Again, it's all coated in this nice kind of matte black finish, which I personally really like the look of. The only thing which I would have liked to have seen actually would have been for these brackets to actually been done in the same coating, just to give it that slightly more stealthy look. Although realistically, you're probably not going to see these when the cooler's on top of it. But again, it would have been a nice touch to have those in that sort of powder black coating, and the same goes for the screws as well. So this little bit in here is your fan connectors. Now these fans have the Arctic PWM sharing technology, so you can daisy chain these fans. So if you've got 2 headers on your motherboard for your CPU fans, then that's great. You can just plug those straight in on the 4-pin PWM. If you've only got 1 header, not a problem. You just daisy chain them into that header, simplifying the installation. Again, if you've got this mounted in a case such as the Fractal design, where you've got 2 fans available on the top as well, then there's no reason why you can't daisy chain a few of these, get yourself some more Arctic cooling fans, plug those in as well, and you could probably have up to about 4 fans running, or 3 or 4 fans running quite easily on 1 header. So that pretty much wraps up this unboxing and first look at the Arctic Freezer 33 Esports Edition. If you want to see the results of this when I install it in the system and do some benchmarking, then make sure you click on the subscribe button, click on the chime icon, and that way when a new video is released, you'll get notification. Also, if you want to be notified via the Discord server, the details of the Discord server are going to be in the description below, so you're more than welcome to come and join the general PC chat and laughs that we're having on that Discord server at the moment. Thanks to all of you already that have already joined up to it. It's really appreciated, and it really encourages me to keep the channel going. So again, that pretty much wraps this up. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. This has been the Arctic Freezer 33 Esports Edition. We'll catch you again in the very next video. Thanks for watching.